In this video, we're comparing Browse.ai, Octoparse, and Apify to answer one question: which is the best no-code web scraper? Web scraping is no longer just a development tool. Marketers, analysts, e-commerce teams, and operators now rely on no-code scrapers to track competitors, collect leads, monitor listings, and pull market data automatically. But choosing the wrong tool can mean broken scrapes, wasted credit, or workflows that don't scale. These platforms aren't interchangeable. Each one solves a different version of the same problem: speed versus control versus scalability. In this video, I'll break down what each tool actually does well, where it falls short, and which one makes the most sense depending on how you plan to use web scraping. I'm Erin from SaaS Report. Let's get into it. So now let's start with Browse.ai. Right away, Browse.ai positions itself as a no-code AI-powered scraping platform built for people who want data without building scrapers from scratch. The core promise is simple: turn almost any website into a reliable data pipeline without writing code. So this isn't a developer-first tool. It's designed for speed, accessibility, and getting results quickly. So Browse.ai works by training what they call robots. You install the Chrome extension, open the page you want to scrape, and visually click on the elements you care about, like prices, title, links, or descriptions. Then Browse.ai learns that pattern and then repeats the task automatically. You're not working with CSS selectors or XPath. You're teaching the scraper by example. That makes it especially strong for things like competitor monitoring, price tracking, tracking content changes, and recurring data pulls over time. Another major strength here is monitoring. Browse.ai isn't just built for one-off scrapes. It's designed to run on schedules, whether that's hourly, weekly, or monthly, and alert you when something changes. It almost mimics human behavior on the page, which helps with dynamic sites that rely on dropdowns, pagination, or heavy JavaScript. For a lot of business users, that's the difference between a scraper that works once and one that keeps working reliably. As you scroll down further, you'll also see that Browse.ai also offers fully managed web scraping services. This is an important distinction. Browse.ai isn't just a software. If you need large-scale extraction or enterprise-level support, their teams can actually handle the scraping for you. And that makes it appealing to teams that want clean data without owning infrastructure or constantly fixing broken scrapers. And finally, this section is about trust and scale. Browse.ai highlights enterprise-grade security, GDPR compliance, encrypted data transfer, and role-based access controls. They're clearly positioning this as a platform that's safe for business use, not just side projects. They also show real usage at scale, with over 8.3 billion rows of web data extracted, more than 39 million automated tasks, and over 69 million hours saved. That tells you this platform isn't experimental. It's already being used heavily in production environments. So Browse.ai is best if you want fast setup, visual training, and reliable monitoring, especially if you're not technical. But simplicity always comes with trade-off, and that's where the next tool takes a very different approach. Next up is Octoparse. So right from the homepage, Octoparse positioned itself as a no-code web scraping tool built for anyone who wants structured data without writing code. This is one of the more established players in the space, and it's designed to handle more complexity than basic click and scrape tools. Octoparse sits in the middle background. It's still no code, but it assumes you're willing to learn how scraping workflows actually work. One of Octoparse's biggest strengths is templates. Instead of starting from scratch, you can choose from hundreds of pre-built scrapers for popular sites like Google Maps, Google Search. You got Amazon, TikTok, LinkedIn, and Twitter. So these templates let you pull structured data almost instantly with zero setup. For a lot of users, this is the easiest way to get value out of Octoparse, especially if you're scraping common platforms or public datasets. When you build your own scraper, Octoparse uses a visual workflow builder. You click elements on the page, define actions like pagination, loops, and extraction steps, and Octoparse turns that into a repeatable scraping process. Unlike simpler tools, Octoparse gives you visibility into each step of the workflow. That means you can handle things like multi-page navigation, infinite scroll, login forms, and structured data extraction without touching code. This is where Octoparse starts to feel more powerful, but also where the learning curve begins. Octoparse is built to handle dynamic websites. It supports JavaScript, heavy pages, automated scrolling, CAPTCHAs, and login protected content. You can also choose to run scrapers locally on your computer or an Octoparse Octoparse's cloud execution is especially useful for scaling. Octoparse can run dozens of scrapers at once, handle IP rotation automatically, and operate around the clock without tying up your machine. That makes it well suited for recurring jobs like daily price tracking, market research, and large-scale data collection. Octoparse emphasizes workflow integration and data control. You can export data in formats like CSV, Excel, or connect directly to databases and other tools. It also highlights security and compliance, giving users control over whether data runs locally or in the cloud. This flexibility is why Octoparse is widely used by analysts, researchers, and businesses that want more control than plug-and-play tools but don't want to build custom scrapers from scratch. So Octoparse is ideal if you want more power and flexibility than simple visual scrapers and you're willing to invest a bit of time learning how workflows work. But if you want maximum scalability, reusable scraping components, and deeper automation, the next tool takes things even further. All right, so now let's talk about Apify, because Apify plays in a completely different category than the other two. Apify is not just a no-code scraper, it's a full web data and automation platform built around what they call actors, reusable scraping and automation modules that can extract data from almost any website at scale. Instead of training a scraper visually, Apify gives you access to a massive library of ready-made tools you can run instantly. Right away, scale is the headline here. Apify has over 10,000 pre-built actors covering platforms like Google Maps, Amazon, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and thousands of other sites. You can run these actors as is, customize their inputs, or chain them together into automated workflows without building everything from scratch. This makes Apify extremely attractive for teams that need data fast but don't want to reinvent the wheel. Where Apify really separates itself is flexibility. You can build your own actors, deploy them in the cloud, schedule them, monitor runs, and connect outputs directly to APIs, databases, or automation tools. Apify is designed for people who treat web data as infrastructure, not a CSV export. If scraping is part of your product, your research pipeline, or your AI workflow, this level of control matters. Apify also goes much deeper technically. It supports JavaScript and Python and works with tools like Playwright, Puppeteer, Selenium, and their own crawly framework that allows Apify to handle complex websites, things like heavy JavaScript rendering, infinite scroll logins, and aggressive anti-bot systems. That's why Apify is often used for large-scale lead generation, competitive intelligence, AI training data, and enterprise-grade research. Another unique aspect of Apify is the ecosystem. Developers can push actors to the marketplace and get paid when others use them. For users, that means many scrapers are actively maintained and updated as websites change, which reduces long-term breakage. Apify also emphasizes enterprise-grade reliability with high uptime, compliance, and support for teams operating at scale. The trade-off is complexity. Apify is not a beginner tool. Even though some actors are plug and play, getting the most out of Apify usually requires comfort with scraping logic, APIs, and data workflows. It's extremely powerful, but it assumes a more technical user than Browse.ai or Octoparse. So Apify is best if you need maximum flexibility, cloud scale, and automation depth, especially if web data is core to your business, not just something you run occasionally. Choosing the right no-code scraper. Here's the honest breakdown and the real decision most people are actually making. Browse.ai is built for speed, clarity, and momentum. If your goal is to get data flowing today without learning scraping logic, workflows, or infrastructure, this is the easiest win. You visually train robots, turn on monitoring, and let it run in the background for price tracking, competitor monitoring, content changes, and ongoing data checks. Browse.ai feels the most practical for everyday business use. Octoparse gives you more knobs and switches. It's a powerful no-code builder if you're willing to invest time learning the workflow editor and managing runs. It's great for structured, repeatable scraping, but it assumes you're okay spending more time configuring before you see results. Apify is the most flexible and scalable, but it's also the most technical. It shines when web data is the product or when you need cloud automation at scale. For most people who just want reliable data without building infrastructure, it can feel like an overkill. So here's the real takeaway. If you want maximum control, go Apify. If you want deep workflows workflows, go Octoparse. But if you want the fastest path from website to usable data with the least friction, Browse.ai is the tool most people actually stick with. That's why Browse.ai tends to be the best starting point and often the final one. All right, now let's compare pricing, and I'm gonna start with Browse.ai because this is where most people realistically land. So Browse.ai offers a free tier so you can test the platform and understand how credits work. And once you're ready to run real scrapers, paid plans typically start at $19 up to $38 per month range, depending on how many credits and websites you need. What makes Browse.ai's pricing attractive is how straightforward it is. You're mainly paying for the credits and your monitored pages, not compute units, not infrastructure, not abstract usage math. So as you scale, you can move into the higher tiers or managed plans. But for most solo users and small teams, the pricing stays predictable and easy to control. If you want something you can turn on, understand immediately, and not constantly worry about overruns, Browse.ai feels very low stress. Next is Octoparse. So Octoparse also has a free plan, but it's mostly for testing small local jobs. Once you need cloud extraction and automation, paid plans start at the $69 to $249 per month range. So Octoparse pricing makes sense if you're running recurring cloud scrapes, need IP rotation, CAPTCHA solving, or want deeper workflow control, but the plans are more feature dense and the jump between tiers can feel steep if you don't need everything. It's good value for power users, but it's not the simplest pricing model to reason about if you're just trying to monitor a few sites consistently. Finally, there's Apify. So Apify uses a pay-as-you-go model layered on top of monthly plans. There is a free tier, then a starter plan at $29 per month, a scale plan at $199 per month, and enterprise plan starting at $9.99 per month. On top of that, you pay for compute units as your actor runs. So this pricing model makes sense if you're running heavy workflows, building reusable automation, or supporting larger teams. But for non-technical users, it can feel abstract. Costs depend not just on usage, but how efficiently your scrapers are built. Apify is powerful, but it's very easy to overspend if you're not monitoring usage closely. Here's the honest breakdown. Browse.ai sits in the sweet spot, mid-range pricing, simple credits, and very little mental overhead. Most people can start small, scale gradually, and never feel like the tool is fighting them. Octoparse offers strong value if you need structured cloud workflows and don't mind a learning curve. Apify is best when automation is the product, but it's the most complex and the easiest to overpay for if your needs are simple. If you want scraping to quietly work in the background while you focus on your business, Browse.ai is usually the safest bet, both technically and financially. There's no single best no-code web scraper. It really comes down to what you're trying to build. If you want fast setup, visual training, and reliable monitoring, Browse.ai is tough to beat. If you need deeper workflow control without writing code, Octoparse is a strong option. And if you're building large-scale automation with reusable modules, Apify offers the most flexibility. I put links to all the tools down below so you can explore them yourself and see which one fits your workflow the best. I'm Erin from SaaS Report. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.